Hi there, crafty pals, Louise with you today. Thanks for checking out this video. It is of course a Kitaholic Kits scrapbook layout for the month of July, and this one was actually a little bit inspired by design team member Bernie. And last month she used just a little bit of distress ink in her background, and it was really subtle and really added just the most amazing sort of interest to her background. And when I saw that, I realized that it's been so long since I've pulled out my distress inks and used them in any kind of background feature. So that's my inspiration for today's page. Now, I think this floral page is just gorgeous, but I actually really struggled to use it this month. And I think because it's quite busy, it actually took me a little bit of time to try and find a way to use it. And in this case, I really like how it looks with this yellow background because it's got that little bit of yellow in that floral pattern paper as well. I've picked a nice simple photo, and of course I am creating in 9x12 today. I also wanted to use the mixed media portion, so I'm going to add some stenciling just over my little bit of yellow background there. And because the stenciling is that sort of really light, almost clear sparkle, it's very subtle and it doesn't overwhelm the background, which I think is a great way to use the particular element, that mixed media portion of the kit. All right, so while I set that aside to dry, I go back to my photo and I start to work on how I'm going to embellish this. So firstly, I like to mat things, and often I will use patterned paper in coordinating colours from the kit. Sometimes I will double mat, but you can also see in this case that I've added just a little bit of distressing around the edges as well. So just taking a little bit of time to break up that colour, put that pop of blue in there. Obviously, this is a boys page. This is Master Zaleb. We were waiting around during one of our sort of standard hospital visits, and he's pretty good at amusing himself, so he decided it was going to be a great idea to spin around on the chair. You know, sometimes that's irresponsible parenting, but when you're waiting for hours at a time stuck in a hospital room having different tests and things like that, you have to balance that kind of tech time versus letting them expend some energy. So definitely snapped a couple of pictures while he was busy amusing himself on this particular day. All right, so while I think about how else I'm going to create with this page, I know that I obviously need a title, and I do love the titles that we got this month's kit, so that was super easy just to grab that little captured thickers piece and put that onto my photo element. I do, I love the technique where you can move and lay embellishments around your page and still tell a really effective story. So that is a really great way to go about using up some space without feeling too overwhelmed by the elements. Now, a little bit of difficulty here. Apparently my glue had become clogged, so I do apologize while I take a couple of seconds and actually just snip the end off my glue because I couldn't get any to come out, and then it all started flowing out really easily, and yeah, I think it's time for a new bottle of glue. So eventually getting things sorted here. I did toy with the idea of moving that captured because I wanted this a little bit more to the left-hand side, but it was already well and truly stuck and was not coming off. I didn't want to damage the photo, so it had to stay where it was. Now, of course, there's a little bit of a yellow theme going on with this month's kit, and the rub-on pieces from 49er Market are also a really great way to add areas of interest in your background. I felt like I needed just this little something in that bottom right-hand corner and a few little pieces to pop out from around the photo. So adding those rub-ons, I do like these. They stick down super well. You can put them over some mediums. Do check the medium first because some of them do not stick. It really just does depend on what you've put down on your page. But that gives that little pop of sort of that yellow into the background, as well as coordinating really nicely with my layout. And I just felt like it needed something down in this bottom right-hand corner. So I'd already put the rub-ons and just just using a couple of stickers and bits and pieces to help finish and embellish this page. So it turned out to be quite interesting. It didn't have anything super technical, but I think that the page itself really came together quite nicely, and I thank Bernie for her inspiration in terms of the inking feature for the background. All right, well, that is my share for you for today. I thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have checked out Kitaholic Kits and, of course, have subscribed and hit that little button. Enjoy.